No, JJ, there's nothing new under the sun. That's what my dad told me to my face, and my heart sank to my stomach. How could he say that after everything that I told him? For context, my dad and I were traveling up towards Hammond, Louisiana, and as long road trips go, we started having a father-son conversation after we were listening to an audiobook about discipleship, what it means to be a disciple. I had just finished watching a video by Cole Hastings that I will put up on the screen now and down below about how to actually know who you are. And I put in practice for up to that point while I was in the car for 2 weeks, making all these sort of observations. And excitement grew in my chest because on one of the days, I believe it was 3 days before going on this trip with my dad, I realized how much I loved rain. Before, it was just something that I noticed, and unknowingly I was just like, oh, cool. But as I was sitting on this big blue chair that we have in our house, and I was hearing the pitter patter against the window, I remember just looking towards my left and just closing my eyes and listening to the soothing thunderstorm that was happening. And I felt so powerful. It was almost I could feel the energy. It's almost I could hear the music of every single time the rain will let up just for a little bit, and then it would come back 10 times more. I just loved that. So I expressed that to my dad boldly, and with a little bit of a childish grin, I mentioned to him that if I were taken back to Bible times, I would like to imagine that I would be part of the few Israelites that when they got to the mountain, that I wouldn't be one of the ones backing away. I would be like, let's go. This is my God. This is my home. If we're going to get more thunder and lightning, yeah, this is me. To which my dad laughed. Then I calmly expressed that this revelation wouldn't have presented itself if I had not been intentional of putting in that quiet time to reflect, to sit with myself for those uncomfortable minutes that seem initially worth pulling out my phone, but I intentionally clicked it off and put it to the side and just listened. That's when he laid the big brick on me from the final portions of Ecclesiastes 1:9. You know, JJ, there's nothing new under the sun. That's what my dad told me to my face, and my heart sank to my stomach. Hearing that, I went silent for a good while, because the question that popped into my head, despite despite me being a bit hurt from what my dad said, because I thought I had just discovered something. What was the big deal of quiet time anyway? Why did I feel such emotion and excitement over something that isn't new at all? Dr. K, aka Healthy Gamer, Hamza Ahmed, and Rob Mulder. I hope I'm saying that last name correct. These are just few notable names that have covered the importance of staring at a wall for half an hour to an hour and recounting the plethora of benefits. Still, I was wondering if there's nothing new under the sun, why is it such a big deal? So, being a Christian, I decided to go back to the Bible in order to get a standpoint, a better perspective on things. And wouldn't you know, I found out that Jesus, as extroverted as most God-fearing people would assume, with like being extroverted and being mindful, and he was those things. He also had the side of getting tired with people, and dare I say, tired like us humans, to where he needed, you guessed it, that quiet time, that space away.
But JJ, that doesn't make sense.
He came to save us. He came to be intermingled with the people. He came in baby form, and once he became roughly 30 years of age, he started his ministry or his service to be with the people, to connect it. Whose mystery of being fully God and fully man is still being debated today. You're telling me the guy who is known for saving the human race,
he needed time to himself?
I thought Jesus was an extrovert. Well, surprise, surprise. If you didn't know already, he had his moments of where he got tired of us. In the sense of man, he had questions too. He needed relief. He needed that quiet time in order to regain his sanity, or restabilize his sanity. Jesus had his introverted moments too. Heck yes. I for anyone who needed clarifying, it surprised me to relearn this aspect of a God who of most stories that I have heard, from those who are passionate, I've heard more stories of him being outgoing than actually taking the time to consider, what did those quiet times look like? That special time to spend with his Father, away from his disciples. So you see this concept of active quiet time, intentional quiet time, if you've been around long enough, you can see that society pushes for the other end. In fact, if you decide for 5 minutes to sit at a park bench, take in the birds, maybe even feed a few of the pigeons wherever you are, to feed the squirrels, that's lazy.
You gotta be on your grind, bro. You have to work. You have to push. You don't know who your competition is, and somebody's gonna take it from you.
You need the next position. You need the next paycheck. You need this next. You gotta go because you got only one life, man. You got only one spirit. You're not gonna take it when you go, so you gotta either work hard or enjoy the moment. Because who knows when you're gonna experience this next feeling, this next person, this next move. It's tensing. No wonder there's so much anxiety, and people who want to take a different pace, a more methodical, more pace that requires you to slow down, to find rhythm. Nah, bro. That's lazy. Oh, you can go ahead, but you're ridiculed. Slacker. Those are just a few of the nicer terms. You can get creative with what else society labels and tries to deem appropriate for the age, time, stage in life that you're at. And inadvertently, society seems so, generally speaking, so surprised when people are pulling out their hairs out, or then turn to desperation, like stealing and or killing people, or removing themselves from the situation, from this life. Because they didn't get to the supposed mark. There's a time and a place, yes, to work hard, to be bold, to achieve. But there has to be a time where the flip side is appropriate and necessary to slow things down, to reflect, to regain one's base, and not to feel ashamed and bad for taking a breather, for connecting with people, to take in those moments that make life worth living. So we continue driving. I don't know how I broke the silence from the train of thought that I was having, but I did. And it ended up being a blissful experience. We got to our destination, and the ride back was funny, full of laughs, and I consider it an honor that I still can do this with my dad and have these conversations. Even those moments of uncomfortable silences, knowing that he's there for me, willing to listen. If you're feeling pressured, if you're feeling so tense, so done with all the shoulds, the coulds, you have to, you must. If you don't, fill in the blank. I challenge you to take action. Dedicate. If all you got is 5 minutes, then it's okay. But just slow down. Close your eyes if you have to. And just be. Breathe. Take those moments. There is a beauty in being. You are a human being, for crying out loud. So take the time and be.